Hi everyone! I'd like to share with you today about the read alouds that we've been enjoying as a family this school year. So we've been enjoying a variety of picture books and chapter books, and here's the ones that we read this year. We started off in the summer by reading Little House in the Big Woods, which we all really enjoyed. It was really neat to read about how they did things in the pioneer days, very descriptive, and we all really enjoyed this one. And then we moved on to the next one, which is Little House on the Prairie, and that was also a lot of fun. It's definitely a classic that a lot of children have enjoyed. After that, we read this one here. It's called Out of the Darkness, and it's the story of Louis Braille. This one, it was really interesting. However, I found the language to be a little too advanced, so that my oldest is 7 years old, and I felt like I had to sometimes read it and then paraphrase it to him a little bit, or as I would read along, I would try to reword it a little differently so he could understand. So I found it just a tad too advanced. However, it was still very interesting. We learned a lot about Louis Braille and how the Braille alphabet came about to be, so that was interesting. And then we also read Ribsy by Beverly Cleary. My oldest is a huge fan of this series of the Henry Huggins books by Beverly Cleary. We really liked them. We really enjoyed them last year. So this year we read this one here called Ribsy. It's a really fun read aloud. I love her writing style, and I find that her books are really good to read aloud as well. Like, they're not just for reading to yourself. They flow really well by reading it aloud to your kids. So we all enjoyed this one. It was a really cute one. And then we went on to start a new series. We actually read our first Boxcar Children book, and so the first one in the series. My children liked this one. However, I didn't really like it as much. I don't know. I just kept thinking about like how unrealistic some of it was. I know it's a kid's book, but it just like, it wasn't one of my favorites to read. However, my 7-year-old really loved it. And so after that, he was really into the Boxcar Children. So then I started reading Surprise Island, which is the second one in the book. And again, I wasn't super loving it. And I found that through our library, we have Hoopla. And on Hoopla, you could get it as an audiobook. So then I just put it on for him to listen to as an audiobook. And so that was like his first audiobook to listen to. And that was fun because he really enjoyed it. And then I didn't have to read it since it wasn't really my thing. We read this lovely classic, The Family Under the Bridge. I've seen it a lot on book lists, and then I actually found it at my local Value Village. So I was like, oh, we'll read this, because I've been eyeing this book. It's been on a few book lists by different curriculum companies out there. And we enjoyed it. It was a cute, short little story. It wasn't a favorite, but it was nice. And then I saw a friend of mine recommend this book on Instagram. It's called Little Pear. And we actually did a unit on China this year in social studies. And this book is a story of a little boy named Little Pear who lives in China in the early 1900s. And my children really liked this one. So it's really cute. It's a really easy read. And it went really well with our China unit. My 4-year-old, he was kind of not really into the chapter books that much, but when I picked up this one, he would just sit and listen to it. This is like his gateway chapter book. This is the first chapter book that my 4-year-old really enjoyed. He would just come up on the couch and cuddle right up and just listen and listen and listen, and he loved the adventures of this little boy, Little Pear. It's really cute. It's a really good starter. I would say it's a really good starter chapter book if you're just transitioning out of picture books into chapter books. This is a really good one. We also did a little unit on knights and castles. So I found this one here, and it's called The Sword in the Tree. It was nice too. Yeah, my 7-year-old, he really liked it, and it was okay as a read aloud. It wasn't one of my top favorites, but it was nice. We liked it. And then we also did a unit on Africa. So we read this book here. Now, this book I found in the summer. I was visiting my family that lives in a different province, and we went to the Amish country area there, and we went to an Amish bookstore, an old order Amish bookstore actually, and I found this chapter book there. I thought it looked interesting, so I bought it, and then we used it. It went really well with our Africa unit. It's a really nice story. It teaches some important values in it. It's very old order Mennonite, so there is one part where they talk about how like women shouldn't wear jewelry and things like that. So, but it's really sweet. It's a really nice little story. And next is this one here. Going on with our Henry Huggins series. Malachi loves these books, and so we just started reading this at the end of the school year, and it's Henry and the Paper Route. And it's another one in one of Beverly Cleary's Henry Huggins books. So this have been our read alouds, and of course we've been reading lots of picture books as well for the younger children, but these are the chapter book read alouds that we did for this year. And so I hope that maybe you'll find some here that you might like to look into yourself for your family. Thanks for watching, and if you like these kind of videos, then please subscribe to my channel.